Hello friends, Reckless Tempest, top 16 seasonals player here, and today we're going to do a meta report of the new expansion that just came out. We're using Lor-Meta's tier list right now to suss out what decks we should be playing on ladder, and the first one is Pirate Aggro. Not really a big shock. Aggro is normally very good at the beginning of a season, and didn't get nerfed yet. Also, it got a nice upgrade in Ionian Hookmaster, if I could just get the mouse there properly, because this has replaced Legion Grenadier, because Improvise is kind of messed up. You're still normally going to end up with a 3-2, but you're going to get that sweet weapon value. The second deck, ripping up the metagame, is Jax. This is a concurrent timeline Improvise deck, so we're playing a ton of Improvise units, and we try to mull for concurrent timelines, so that when we play the Improvise units, they end up massive, because improvised units have very small base stats. You know, they're just 2/2s, right? Or 2/1s, or 1/1s. But then when you concurrent timelines, they get upgraded into big boys, and they still have the weapon on them. So they just are very strong. And actually, I have put up a video of some gameplay if you want to check that out. The card should be there. Third up, and still in the A tier, is Katarina Gwen. This deck is pretty much the exact same. Played this during seasonals. It's a pretty good deck. Honestly, not a whole lot to say about it. It's got a lot of synergies with Eternal Dancers, Rune Reckoner. Letting you attack multiple times, you can actually do an infinite combo if they don't have enough interaction. It's just like a very strongish aggro deck. Just, it throws down. It throws down. Fourth up in the A tier, we have Gnosis Kindred. This cropped up near the very end of last season, and it's just kind of it's the old Nasus Thresh deck, but instead of Thresh, we're playing Kindred, and because of Hate Spike, Kindred is a lot better at activating and mowing down stuff, in addition with having Crumble, right? This deck's very good at mowing down units, and it's a big bane of things like, I think it has a favorable matchup against Kaisa, or it did, and things like Ornn, right, just have a really hard time because they're trying to make a big unit and they crumble it for 4. Kennen Ezreal sitting here at a nice metascore of 58. Again, this is basically the old deck list, not a whole lot has changed. This deck just mulligans to find Kennen, bounce it 4 times, then play copies, get an Ezreal, ping them down, control the board, tempo them out. You know, classic purple region, good, fun, wholesome gameplay that everyone loves. Everyone loves this. I love to play against this kind of stuff, don't you? Viego Kindred sitting at a nice score of 55. This deck also has been more or less brought into viability previously in last season from the Hate Spike buff. Yeah, this is actually an Evelyn deck that works. It plays a lot of Husky Makers, and it leverages that sweet Shadow Isle synergy with it. The list I found that had the highest win rate, though the number of played games is still kind of low because, you know, early days, the expansion came out on Wednesday. This is Friday. It actually, the bigger you go, the higher the win rate seems to go with this deck. And also, I like Neverglade Collector. Previously, the highest win rate deck version of this played Neverglade Collector, even though I think it was only 4th in terms of play rate, and now it looks like this is becoming more just of a more staple. Our second last deck is Trundle, another concurrent timelines deck using Improvise to get very stat efficient units that are super big. Also, this deck was actually, like, it was in existence before, and now the Improvise units has just got a big buff. You can even play 2 timeline decks in your lineup for, say, Gauntlet if you want to. You just need to figure out which deck gets Vi and which one loses Vi, and I think this is the deck you want to cut Vi from, and you can just put Caitlyn in. She's been in this archetype well before, seems reasonable. Also Gnar. I did see a list playing Ornn. I wouldn't quite recommend it. And lastly, the last deck I want to highlight for this review is TF Nami. I've just seen a lot of talk about this. It's looking pretty cool. I got the more stable list for you guys, but there is a version that plays Wuju style instead of Twin Disciplines, and that's just because it counts as 2 spells, but it is effectively 1 more mana because the first part is 2-0 and the second part is 0-2. This is something I'm probably going to be playing with because I think I need to start ranking up the Nami part of my character sheet. It's kind of weak, and it seems every season Nami's actually kind of viable in lineups. Just kind of like some last thoughts about how this is looking. Kai'Sa's gone. That Void Abomination nerf really seemed to hit it hard. I am slightly suspicious if this is just everyone is trying to avoid it for day one. But yeah, we've seen Mono Kaisa pretty low. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this content, I'd really appreciate it. If you concur in timelines, that like button, yours costs 0, and it helps push this content to other people. And if you want more Runeterra and card game goodness, Mystic Shot that like button. I'll see you next time.